All right, I just wanted to make a video to elaborate on how I ended up getting laid off, how it led up to that, and why we're moving and what happened in court because I had to go to, well, I wanted to go to court and to see if I could stay and just wanted to share my experience and um, I'm able to make this video in my home. So I'm gonna continue talking in my home as I move around. My daughter landed a job, ironically, and she's working right now. So, and me, I'm still looking for a job. And I think that's what I wanted to really focus on. But here's the exciting part before I get into all the chaos and all the, the negative side of this experience that we're going through. Here's the good part. I get to start my podcast, and I know that we're going to be okay. I feel confident that everything's going to work out for us, even if I don't find an apartment, because in order for me to find an apartment, I have to have a job. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to share my experience, and I don't know, maybe I could connect with someone. This is my way. This is like a therapy for me, and um, I feel like everything happens for a reason. There is no coincidence, and we've been wanting to move to Chicago for I want to say since my son had been wanting us to go there since 2020. He's been asking us. My oldest son lives there, and I always kept saying, yeah, yeah, yeah. One day I will. Maybe next year. Then we moved to another place, and then maybe, yeah, maybe the following year. Then we moved here. So um, maybe it's time for us to move to Chicago. Anyways, um, as far as being laid off, I'm gonna take you guys through that. Um, I was laid off for the summer, which was okay because I collected unemployment, and um, I was like, okay, I'll just, get signed up again come August, and then I'll get another school year and I'll go back to work. But I knew that working with an agency, there's no guarantee, which, by the way, there's no guarantee working at a company nowadays, anyways. I mean, you see it, a lot of people are being laid off, and it has nothing to do with agencies or corporations or jobs. It's just happening more now than ever before. Um, so yeah, so I was okay with that as far as like I wasn't surprised, let's put it that way, when they said, oh, the school district decided not to sign you on for another year, because I did my research and I understood that right now everything's falling apart, every system, including the education system. And I knew this um, learning about the fact that all the districts, the way they're operating and the way they get paid is through tax dollars, that through the people that own houses for the most part. So if you own a house, your taxes on that house is going towards the school district, and it's become an obvious fraud. So a lot of people are waking up to that too, by the way. So I knew that people are going to wake up and they're going to realize that, wait a minute, like this is not right for me to pay this kind of money, and why am I paying more taxes, and how come I don't know where it's going? And when you get your house evaluated, it's a fraud. It's not worth like they say it's worth, and that money goes to the districts. But people are waking up now and they're fighting it. They're going to court and saying, no, 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 something's wrong. I'm not paying this tax. This is too much. It's ridiculous. My house is not worth that much. So I knew about that, and I knew that the districts were going to fail eventually, and I understood that the districts are going broke. And I read an article that said over 100 districts in Illinois are going broke, and so a lot of districts were cutting. So I wasn't surprised when they decided to not sign me up. I was like, okay, they have to cut budgets, and might as well get rid of the agencies first, which is fine. Um, I wasn't, my agency wasn't the only ones that were being cut. There was other departments that were being cut too. And so yeah, I wasn't surprised, but I wasn't really focused on that. So it kind of threw me off guard a little bit, because over the summer I had some stuff that I was dealing um, with my daughter's situation, and things happened where I fell behind on rent. So what I did is I went to search for a program, and it's taking too long. So because I'm unemployed and because the program is taking too long, the owners of the townhouse that I live in are a little skeptical, and they need to look after themselves and their pockets, which I understand how that works. So I went to court and I put in like a motion for an extension, and see if I could kind of pull it off until I get a job. And again, forcing the outcome. That's what we do as humans when we try to control everything ourselves and not learn to be still and understand that everything will unfold as it should. And that's what I did. I was almost like trying to force it. And I went to court. I stood in front of the judge. I asked him if I could get an extension, and they pretty much denied it. So I am pretty much looking for a place, but unfortunately, I can't land a place until I land a job, because I've noticed you got to have a job. And so that's our situation right now. As crazy as this sounds, I'm staying calm, and I understand how things unfold as they should. And maybe this is our calling to move to Chicago. And I'm sure it wasn't meant for me to stay in the school districts where I was at, because then I would have stayed another year. And then my son would have been like, Mom, what's taking you so long? Like, it's going on 7 years. And I pretty much am done with this town. We've been here since 2003. So it's been over 20 years. I'm done. And that's what I told my daughter. And another important thing I wanted to mention to you guys is that I know we tend to freak out when things like this happen, like when we get laid off, and on top of that, we have to move out because it just doesn't work out. You can't afford it here. Like, it's obvious I can't afford it here anymore. Um, it's it could be worrisome, but I think that the last thing that we should be, you know, um, worrying about, because there's always a way out. You know what I mean? And for my situation, um, what might happen is that I might have to, with my daughter, stay at a hotel, which is fine, because here's the thing. I've already went through this before. When my husband passed away in 2012, I think it was 2013 or 2014, I decided to move to Florida. I packed my stuff with my kids, my two youngest ones, and we set out on an adventure. I drove my truck all the way to Florida. We got established. No, we stayed in a hotel for 2 months. I got my kids signed up at the school. I got hired at a job. I landed a job. Then, at the time, my father-in-law signed for an apartment and was about to sign for an apartment. I was about to get approved for an apartment with his signature, and we were going to stay there. And something happened here, back in my town, and we ended up coming back. But we stayed in the hotel for 2 months, and we were fine. And another incident happened over here back in 2022 in this town, where I had to wait for another apartment to come available, and I had to wait 30 days. I did the same thing. I took my kids. We stayed in a hotel in my town for 30 days. We were fine. So, what might happen is that we might end up staying in a hotel until things unfold for us, which will be fine. And we'll be okay. So, that's I wanted to share with you guys, and um, we'll see what happens, you know? A lot of things could happen in 2 weeks, guys. A lot of things. A lot of spontaneous, miraculous things can unfold for any of you, including me. Um, Miracles happen all the time. And I believe in miracles. And I believe in everything happening as it should. Things will unfold for you, Erica, as it should. Things will unfold for you if you're going through something like this, like me, you know, been laid off or losing your home, have to move out. Things will always work out. I think the most important thing is for us to be still and for us to trust the process and just let it, like, kind of let it go. Like, not trying to control or manipulate the outcome or like force things to happen, but just almost like being in a flow state. But still, power equals you got to do some work. So we're actually going to Chicago this weekend, and we're going to continue looking for an apartment, because what I'm doing is I'm still making appointments to see apartments. They don't know that I don't have a job. So I set up appointments and we go look at apartments. Like, we're getting the apartment, you know, and that's blind faith. That's just going with your eyes closed and knowing that everything's going to work out for you. And you're already in Chicago. And yeah. So take care, guys, and walk in faith, because that's all I've been doing is walking in faith, blind faith, being delusional. That's what they call it. Yeah.